airsoft.com. That's where you can go to get all your airsoft supplies and needs. And today what we're going to do is we're going to do a review of the Walther P99 co2, oops, that's not it, co2 airsoft handgun. This little officially licensed Walther P99 is brought to you by Umarex USA. Umarex USA has the Walther license for the P99. Now let's zoom in a little bit and let's check it out. Alright, well this is the Walther P99 by Umarex. Comes in a nice beautiful like bubble blister pack. It is full metal slide blowback. It has blowback action. Remember, it is CO2. It uses the standard 12-gram CO2 cartridge. It says it's a 380 feet per second. We're going to test that later. Here are some stats on this gun. It says CO2 blowback, 380 FPS, metal barrel, metal slide, double action, 15-round magazine, and it's a replica. Okay, great. It does come with about 100 BBs inside there, a manual, and of course this card. Now, this is the P99 DAO. The P99 DAO. That means double action only, which means there is no hammer, and you don't, when you cock it, it's not ready to fire. You actually have to pull the trigger all the way. What I'm doing when I pull this trigger is I am actually cocking the hammer inside. I am cocking the hammer, and then it fires. You have to go full trigger squeeze each time. Even though it's blowback, it doesn't cock itself when you fire it. Okay, let's talk about some of the cool things about this gun and why I like it. First of all, the P99 is my handgun of choice. Also the M&P. I have not been able to get a hold of or find any M&P airsoft handguns anymore. It seems like they've discontinued them, or it's just extremely hard for me to get some. But the P99 is also my top, or the PPQ, or maybe even the Mr. Eagle, because they all have the same type of grip, and this grip fits my hand 100% perfectly. Okay, you will see that it has the P99 groove that runs along the side here, and the P99 groove here that runs along the side. You will also see the Walther trademarks there and there, and you'll see them on the same place on that side there. Okay, because it is an airsoft gun, there is a safety. On the P99, I don't believe there is normally a safety. But on this one, there is a little firing and safe forward, reverse switch there. Magazine catch. Magazine catch is under the trigger guard right here. It is not a button that you push on the side like most traditional handguns. It has a lever. This is kind of unique to most Walther handguns, is that when you push this down, that releases the magazine. If you notice, the magazine is not a full-size magazine. It is only a BB width magazine, and that slides in front of the CO2 cartridge, which is stored in the pistol grip. Now, you ask me, Derek, well, is that even cool? Is that good, or why do they do that? Why don't they just put the CO2 in the magazine? Well, I'm going to tell you why that is sexy. Because you know that a CO2 cartridge will last much longer than one magazine worth of BBs. So, let's say I've got 5 magazines. Each one in a CO2 cartridge per magazine, then I'm running around with a bunch of magazines with a bunch of CO2 cartridges, all, punctured, ready to go. So when I load it up and I start shooting, I only use like 15 BBs worth of CO2, and then I have to swap it out for another magazine, and then I use only 15 BBs worth of CO2 out of that one, and then I finish the day and I've got like 5 half-empty CO2 cartridges. Well, what am I going to do? Am I going to leave them stored like that? I could, but what I need to do is empty them. How am I going to empty them? Because I'll have to empty every single one of my magazines. Where? In this scenario, where you have a CO2 cartridge in the buttstock, or I'm sorry, the pistol grip of your handgun, if I have 5 magazines, I load it, I use some of the CO2, I fire it, I load a second one, I use some of the CO2, and then after about 5 magazines or so, the CO2 is depleted and I'm done. I can just go change out the CO2 or not. Now on the P99, there is a firing pin indicator right here, so that when you were to fire it, you would see like a little red dot. It would poke out showing you that the firing pin, and you could run your finger over it and you could, in the dark, and you could see that you have a firing pin sticking out. Well, it looks like there would be a firing pin indicator, but that is a fake. It does not move. The sights do not move, but they do have like white dots for better aiming. There is a slide catch here, which I've noticed that as this thing blows back, it catches on there with an empty mag. But even with a full mag, there is a possibility that it will catch, and then your whole blowback action ends. So a good way to counteract that is to fire it with your thumb actually holding that slide catch down, so every time it blows back, you get that little metal tink sound. It is railed. There is a rail right there for a laser or a flashlight or whatever else you want to put on there. You want to put a 299 Viridian on there, you go right ahead. It'll fit. Did I mention that it's an awesome grip? It fits my hand perfectly. I don't know if you can see that grip. There's a couple of forward grooves right there, a forward slope right there, so your pinky doesn't get off the handgun. On the real deal, these are actually interchangeable, where you can pop this off and you can put a smaller or a larger one. Well, on this one, that's how you get to your CO2 compartment. You pop this off, I'm pulling it out, and it just comes right out. These would be interchangeable on the real deal. On this one, it's not. You would drop your CO2 cartridge right in there. You have a twist screw that applies pressure to the CO2 onto the nozzle, causing it to puncture the CO2, which is what you want to do. Okay, I loosened it up. I found a CO2 cartridge just laying around. I put it in there, nose first. Okay, it is in there secure. Holding it so it doesn't come flying out, and well, is it in there secure? Now it's in there secure. I had to back it off enough where it actually fell down inside of the grip. Now I'm going to hold it down secure so it doesn't come flying out while I tighten this down. Now when I get to breaking the seal, you're going to start to hear a psst sound. You continue to tighten it down until you stop hearing that sound. Here we go. Okay, I never heard it. Is it punctured? Yes, it is. That was 1 shot, 2 shots, 3 shots, 4 shots, 5 shots, 6 shots. Okay, I'm going to stop right there. I'm going to put the back panel on. I never even heard it leak. That's a good thing. That's massive conservation of CO2. Loading your magazine. Something unique about the gun that I think is very awesome. What you do is using your fingernail, you can slide the plastic BB guide all the way down against the spring, and there's a little notch at the very bottom. You just kind of move it over into the notch, and it is locked in the downward position, so the spring is completely compressed. Now you'll notice there's a hole right there, and using a speed loader, what I can do is I can load from the bottom. Where if you watch closely, I can just pop BBs into that hole. And that is a full mag. Now I release the spring here, maintaining control of it, and then it applies a little bit of pressure against those BBs. Loading it, it is loaded, ready to go. No need to slide it back and load a BB. What we're going to do now is we're going to chrono it. All right, I've got 0.20 gram BBs in here, and what we're going to do is we're going to shoot it through the Chrono. See what we get. Timed out. 300 FPS. Didn't even register. 367, it jumped. 331. No registration. 91, I doubt that. Timed out. 349. 337. You'll notice when it was empty, it stayed back. All right, now I can hold this down and slide it forward. There you go. Let's load it up and let's shoot at range at a target. All right, guys, I'm at 25 feet approximately, and we're going to shoot at it. See if I can even hit the thing. Here we go. 0.20s. It's going pretty much right exactly where I'm aiming. And it's back. Alright guys, this time I stepped back to 50 feet. I want to test my luck at 50 feet. Let's see what we get. Miss, miss. Hit, 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 miss, hit, miss, hit, 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 hit. Alright guys, I loaded another magazine, and now what we're going to do is we're going to see if that's, after shooting all that out of one CO2 cartridge, if it's lowered the FPS any. Again, remember this is 0.20s. 330 something 8. 326. Timed out. 318. Timed out. 320. 318. 319. Timed out. 324. 318. 317. And it's back. Alright, I moved it back to 100 feet. And what we're going to do is we're going to shoot it at 100 feet and see what we get. Here we go. Hit. Miss. Hit. 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 Miss. Never felt that, but miss, miss. Hit. Hit. Right over him. Hit. And we're down. Wow, that's with over 100 rounds. And it's still going strong. Now I'm just going to test the endurance of that CO2. saw how the P99 Walther Umarex USA handgun performed with one CO2 cartridge and 0.20 gram BBs. If I was using a little bit heavier BBs, my accuracy might have gone up. Or if I had shot this a few times before this review, I might have been able to adjust my Kentucky windage and know exactly where I need to hit the targets at different ranges. I think this is a pretty awesome handgun. You should be able to pick this up at screamingeagleairsoft.com. Remember guys, whenever you're on the airsoft field, play safe.